Jackson. Got a couple people coming on. Welcome, guys. Bunch of you jumped on. Mike, welcome, Mike. Chris, Nicole, Matt. As we get started here, guys, I'm going to go a little bit quickly in the beginning. We're going to go through the next 10 minutes. I'm just going to go through a short routine. It's going to be the same as usual. But I'm going to get Spry out. We're going to start her out. Now tonight we're going to do a call-in. So I've got Jennifer kind of set up on a conference call to hopefully set that up. We're planning on doing that at 7. So again, I'm going to start the same way I did this morning. We're making sure that Spry comes out under control. Spry. You can see if she comes out like a pistol. Come on. I'm going to get her outside. We're going to do what we normally do. Get her outside right away. Welcome Seth, Shaldag's in, Vicky, Dennis, Jeff, Reba, Chris, Joe, Kaylee. Welcome all you guys. So I'm going to get her out here. I'm going to have her do her thing. Come on, hurry up, hurry up, hurry up. This is where we ran into that issue. It's going to be dark here for a second, guys. Then we'll get her inside. We're going to go through her routine of feeding. And then we're going to get into a phone call tonight. And I've got some videos to show you guys. And so tonight's going to be a little bit different. I'm kind of excited. I'm a little nervous, to be honest with you. KM Cutters, welcome. How's the wet food going? Rhett Hall, Chris, Ben, Jamie, and Mike, Andy, Amber. Welcome all you guys. Do me a favor. Share these if you would. Share it to someone that you think this would help, or just share it on your page as a dog. I mean, it's free dog training. The price is right. No one's going to overpay. Let me see where this little pup went. Come on, girl. Come on. Now you can hear I've got my ducks out. Come on. There she is. Good girl. Come on. Come on. Come on. Come on. Come on. So now she's. Come on. That's it. Come on. Come on. Come on. Again, black dog in the dark is hard for me. Come on. Come on. Come on. Come on. Come here. Very good. Now, you couldn't see it, but I hope you heard it. She took about 5 or 6 really nice runs to me. She came to me. So, it's Rebe, I think is what it said. I'm going to scroll down because I want to get that right. Come on, little girl. Okay, so she comes in hot. Now, let me flip because this is one of the values. Taylor, come here. Taylor, place. This is part of the value of my place training. I went from 0 to 100 with this little puppy real quickly. So now she's on place. No. You can see, for all those people that are having trouble with place, this dog knows place. She's so wound up, she's so excited, she just boiled over and forgot all the rules. And she jumped off like without hesitation. Now, part of the problem was when Taylor was up there, she jumped up there. She jumped right off. She jumped right up. She jumped right off. She's so wound up that she lost all consciousness of behavior is what that amounted to. She boiled over. And you guys heard my tone. You guys heard my voice. You saw what I did. I picked her up by the scruff of her neck with a real firm no, and I put her back on there. Zero tolerance. Ben, I know you were struggling with it. Jeff was struggling with it. Who else was having a problem with the pup on place? There was a perfect example of my dog made a mistake. I was not going to allow it to happen. And I had to be real firm because that dog knows better. For weeks now, we have place trained and she has not jumped off. She just did. So that meant we needed to give a firm correction because she had to understand that. So it's 5 to 7, so we're gonna go right into it with this. I'm gonna get her bowl of food. We're gonna feed right away. So this time, this is actually a little bit differently. We're a little different, different routine. I'm putting the bowl of food down, and the pup's on place. So we just struggled with place. I'm gonna tempt the heck out of her with place. She's not coming off of there. I'm not going to call her off. I'm not going to send her off. I've had some people say that they're working on different commands on place. I don't recommend it. I don't recommend it working on sit. I don't recommend feeding. I don't recommend things on place. Place is place. So let me set her down here. Give you a little bit different. I'm going to set up into the tripod here. Now she's right. There she went to break. So all these are new movements. Sit. So I just have to slow down right now. Welcome you guys that I didn't call out that came in after I was looking. Welcome everybody. Tonight we're going to do something a little different. We're going to have a live call-in in 5 minutes. So please feel free to share this. That's how we're going to grow it. Share it to someone you think this could help with some of their training. This applies to dogs whether they're 12 weeks old like this one or 12 years old. I don't care. I think these principles, I think this stuff transfers across. Now, I've got pretty good eyes with her. She's sliding back on me. That's where she's pushing so hard on those front paws just to resist her temptation to go right now. Give me, come on. So I'm going to restart this. Sit. The line the way I want it. The eyes the way I want them. Spry. And we're going to set her on that food. Now, the call-in tonight is going to have some things with food. I'm going to show you guys some videos. I'm going to show you some of the things I think need to be done on those videos. And I'm going to show you how I'm going to do it here. So I hope Jennifer is watching. Jennifer, are you watching? Come on. Jennifer is calling in tonight live. I've got a conference number for her. So Jennifer, if you're in, please make a comment for me and let me know that you got that call-in number. Because I have to hit a start button on it before you can dial in. So hold off on dialing in until I get that. After I send her on this one. So the first one, I sent her pretty quickly. This one, I'm going to hold back a little bit. I'm going to make her wait a little bit longer. I'm going to keep her honest. So I'm varying the time, varying the amount of distance, I'm varying the direction. Tonight I varied by making her be on place while I got her food ready. You see that little butt scooting? I don't like that. She should be able to resist that. She's probably a little confused right now going, why are we eating so quickly? Normally we don't do this so quick. Normally we warm up to this point. No, she's just escaping me. So she's so amped right now. Sit. She's just pushing hard on those front paws and her back butt is sliding. Probably won't have this problem if we weren't on hard floor. But to me, I'm reading that like it's a little bit of an escape. And I'm not going to allow that escape. This is much better. Nice eyes the whole time. Spry. Now I'm going to send her. Now I'm going to go into the computer thing here. And I'm going to see, hang with me guys. I'm going to see if I can get the call lined up here for Jennifer to call in. So I'm going to hit start. And I think when she calls in, she's just going to be live all of a sudden. So now let me see if I can bring up the rest of my computer. And I can. So that's good. Okay. Let me, Jennifer, if you're out there, call in at any point here. Just want to see if we can get this to go. So we've got strong numbers, guys. This is the first time that we've done a live call. So I'm going to pick this up. I'm also going to go. So yeah, so that was pretty good. I got it when you're ready. So Jennifer sounds like she's ready. She's here. Go ahead and dial in, Jennifer. I think you're going to come up and just pop up on my computer. Play struggle is real for Jeff. Okay, I'm going to go through these guys. I'm also going to try something new. I'm probably biting off a little more than I should, but I'm going to try to do this live as well on Instagram. So I'm a huge tech nerd tonight. I've got Instagram going, and I don't know exactly how it's going to go on Instagram, but I'm going to try it. Let's see if I can get them up. think I've got Jennifer. Jennifer, are you there?
I'm here.
Ah, I've got you live. Excellent. Okay, so what I'm going to do, Jennifer, is be patient with me just for a minute here. I'm going to get Spry done eating, and then I'm going to put her on place. As soon as I put her on place, then we're going to start in on some of the videos that you sent me. So can you hear me good, Jennifer?
Yeah, I hear you.
Okay. Now I'm going to ask you guys that are watching this. Now, the people on... Now, who's that in the background that I hear, Jennifer? Who is it?
That's Todd.
Todd. Okay, so that's the thing I got to get used to. I feel like I'm talking to Todd the human. I've got Todd the dog. So here, I'm going to get this pup, guys. I'm going to put the pup on place. And now, we're going to stop focusing on the pup. So the pup got it kind of easy tonight. And we're going to spend some time talking with Jennifer. Because Jennifer had... Now, Jennifer, you sent me... real quick, I'm going to let the people on Instagram know what we're doing. So, guys, what we're doing is we're live with a live call-in. We're with Facebook, and we're with Instagram. And I've got Jennifer on the computer right now, on the phone. And we're going to talk about some of the stuff that she's got going on with her dog, Todd. Okay, so, Jennifer, was last week that you had made a comment, correct? Right?
Yeah.
To our lives. So, how long have you been watching the lives?
We started following the live maybe a month ago.
Okay. So you've been with us a little bit. You
As much as we can. Yeah.
Yeah, you haven't been real I don't want to say vocal, but typing. Like you haven't commented a ton up until recently, correct?
That's correct.
Okay. Now, guys, one thing I'm going to ask is, I still get blown away by the technology here. So, Jennifer, are you still watching it live at this time, or are you using that phone?
No, I'm using that phone.
Okay. So, I'm going to ask one of the people that are watching live right now. It's working, yeah. So, and it's on Instagram too. So, my wife just came up. So, I'm going to ask any of you guys, Matt Green, you're with us right now. Matt, can you hear when Jennifer talks? I'm just going to wait, Jennifer, to make sure that they can understand, because I want to make sure that they can hear everything I'm hearing.
Okay.
Or anyone, I guess, can make that comment if you can hear Jennifer. I'm seeing blue thumbs, so I'm guessing that they are. Yep, sounds like they can. Okay, because that's important. Because I want to make sure... Oh, my wife's going to be mad at me now. I just turned the camera on here. So it's important because I want to make sure that they can hear. Because part of the reason we're doing this live call is over the last couple weeks, I've had tons and tons of phone calls with people that have had questions. And part of the value is me hearing the people talk about it. And I'll probably get into that more based on what we talk about. But first off, Jennifer, give me a summary of your struggles right now. I know some of it has to do with nipping and biting, which is great because it's not great, but it's great because a lot of people are struggling with that. But give me your rundown on your dog right now and some of the issues you're having.
Okay, so Todd, one of his biggest issues is definitely some food aggression, or any possession that he has at all. It could be food, it could be toys, it could be something that he jumped up and got off the counter that doesn't even make sense for the dog to have.
Sure.
And he becomes instantly aggressive. He doesn't want us to take it away from him. He doesn't have a gentle mouth. He has bitten both myself and my husband several times, broken the skin, left bruises, all of those things.
Yep.
Other biggest concern that we have at this moment is his return. So having him come when he's called hasn't been very successful.
Okay. Couple questions. Let me grab you guys know it, I'm a Post-it notes guy. I want to take a few notes here. Couple things. How old is Todd?
Todd is roughly roughly a year old. He's a rescue. We found him at the local shelter.
Okay.
He was actually in quarantine when we got him.
Okay. What was he quarantined for? Was it biting?
No, it was kennel cough.
Okay.
That's what he started out with when he was about 6-ish months old.
Okay. So when did you get him?
When he was about 6-ish months old.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah,
So
September,
so you've had him for about 6 months.
roughly, yeah.
Do you feel? How do you feel the rest of your stuff is going, training wise?
The rest of his behavior is just kind of normal puppy behavior.
What does that mean? What does that mean? What's your definition of puppy behavior?
So just, real hyper, kind of loses attention pretty quickly. He's good for maybe a 30-minute session, and then he's kind of done with me.
Okay, that's pretty good. 30 minutes, I think, is good. So keep going though.
He does great with sit and land. I use all one-worded commands.
Okay. What is your lay down? Did you say plant?
Land.
Land. Land.
Land.
Okay. Okay. I saw that in one of the videos, so I'm going to talk about that. But I just want to make sure I knew what it was. Okay.
And those are the basic ones that we've been doing. And of course, just to see if you would be interested, we did do a liver drag through the yard. But
yeah.
I think that's a little for what he needs right now.
Yeah. So it's a good next thing for me. What are your intentions? Where do you see? What are your hopes? What are you looking to get out of Todd? Are you hunters? Are you going to look to hunt with the dog?
My husband does a little bit of squirrel hunting with him right now.
Okay.
But we're more in the city than we are in the country, so it's limiting.
Okay.
But I would love for him to pick up a blood trail. We have tons of friends that hunt, and
sure.
I can't tell you how much the deer goes missing. Right.
So when you were interested in the idea of the liver drag for game recovery, which makes perfect sense. Your dog is clearly a beagle, so I feel like instinctively what is inherent in him is going to lend itself very well to that. So I don't think you're going to have any issues with that. How did he react when you did the blood trail or the liver drag? Just out of curiosity.
Strangely enough, the closer we got to it, the less that he seemed to know where it was. The first off little while, he knew exactly where he was going. He followed it straight out. And then when we got about 2 feet away from it, he just completely lost track.
How long was the trail?
Joe, how far back is that back corner? 150 feet.
Okay. So not terribly long, 50 yards, let's say.
Yeah.
Okay. As far as him getting to it and losing the interest at the end, it likely was he knew it was there, so he might not be that interested in a piece of liver. That's okay. The most important part to me is that he followed 148 feet of it well, and then the last 2 feet, that's okay. We just got to figure out something that's a little more exciting to him, something that's a little more rewarding to him, which no problem. So that's just out of curiosity on that. So let's go back to the issues that you're having right now. So food aggression. I want to see if I can show some videos. So you sent me some pictures, literally broken skin pictures, which was from last week?
That was from Friday.
From Friday, okay. There's a couple things that stand out to me. And then I'm going to ask a few more questions and try to get more answers. But I'm going to see if I can spin this around, guys, and see. I really want these guys to see these videos because this is interesting to me. I'm going to try to spin these both around here. So I'm really working. I got 2 cameras in front of me and a computer. Okay, I'm going to play the first video. Now, this one is you're feeding Todd. Is that your husband on the end of the leash?
Yeah.
Okay.
Good job.
Okay, I didn't think that was awful. So this one, Jennifer, just so you know which one I'm looking at, it was one that I thought was okay. There's one thing that I have in my mind on it. That I think was pretty good. This one I don't think was as good.
Quiet.
Okay, I'm gonna break all these down because these I thought were they were better. I'm gonna go this one.
Easy. 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 Easy.
I don't know if these guys can hear this. There's a pretty aggressive growl coming right now. So this is the one, Jennifer, where Todd's sitting in front of you. You're holding onto a bowl of food. You're petting him. You're trying to settle him down with your voice. He's just slow growling at you. Okay, I'm going to go to this next one. So these are all very interesting to me. There's a few things that really stand out. Here's the one where you're calling him to the food. Do you think Todd is driven by food?
It depends on what it is.
Okay, here's again real aggressive growling as she's petting him and kind of comforting him while his head's in the bowl.
I'd take it away and not let him eat tonight.
There's where Todd flares out pretty good. Do you think he looks at feeding times as much of a reward, Jennifer?
No, I don't think feeding time is required.
I don't either. I think you're right. I like to have it be a positive. I like to have it be a reward. So we're going to talk about that a little bit. So here's Todd laying on the ground. You're petting him, comforting him. I'm not sure if he growls in this one much. Yeah, a little bit of growl. Your hand goes up by his collar and he really growls. Super protective. Like, you reach for the leash, he lashes out at you.
Sit.
So, let's see if there's one more. One more here. So I think these are really interesting videos. I'm glad you sent them to me. It helps me to see some of this stuff.
Good. Land. Land. Good boy.
This one you had him sit, then you had him lay down. Land was your command. I thought he took to it really well. He looked like he was doing something to earn that. I thought that was positive. You go to pet him while he's laying over the bowl of food again, comforting him. Seems like you get your hand up near the collar area, and that's when he's going to start to growl, real possessive. So, a couple things with it, I think. So food, I think we've established isn't. Let me flip these cameras back around. Food, I don't think is a reward for him much. I think, and you said that. I agree with that. One of the things that I think is interesting, and I want to go back up to the very first one, and these are ones that you sent me last week, is these were actually, this one again, and you got to listen really carefully, guys. I don't have the volume on. Hold on. Did you hear that?
Good job. Sit.
So there's a couple things in these videos, Jennifer, and I don't know if it's, I'm just trying to read personality. Like I'm hearing your voice. I think you sound pretty confident. I think that's one of the things that I listened for right away. I hear people on the phone that have lack of confidence. I'm not thinking that right now. What I am thinking is I watched 2 videos, that one and then this next one, and listen to Jennifer giggle in it. Oh, I got to put the volume on here.
Quiet.
You hear that giggle? So you're kind of serious, okay? This one's interesting. So you're kind of serious in it, and you're being real quiet. You know, your tone is being serious. After you go serious for about 20 seconds, while the whole time the dog is just barking at you. And so I first off, I think it's completely disrespectful. Like, that dog is just saying, hurry up, woman. I don't have time for this. I mean, he has no, right now that dog has, in my eyes, the way I'm reading this, he has no respect whatsoever. Like, he's patient. He thinks he's being patient enough to cut you a break that you're waiting for that food. So it's gonna have to, is that him in the background?
Yeah, that's him. He wants to get on the couch with my husband.
Yeah, sounds about right. He's saying, "Hurry up, let's go. I'm not waiting any longer." So we've got a kid here. Let's say he's a person. At 1 year old, we've got, let's say, a 7-year-old, the old 7-to-1 ratio. So we've got a 7-year-old kid that has zero respect for you and says, "I want what I want, and I want it right now, and you're going to give it to me." And this barking, and it's just really, really disrespectful. Like, I would say words that probably shouldn't be said otherwise, like, to describe it. But I know we probably have the Schmitz kids watching, so I'll keep it really G-rated. But this dog doesn't really respect you. Like, you can tell that. And so when you're starting out in this one that's 24 seconds long, and you're really calm and cool, and you're easy, I think you're trying to convince yourself maybe more than the dog, to just be calm. The problem is about after 10 seconds of it, let me play it one more time here.
Quiet.
There, right there, it was, with 10 seconds left, it was quiet, stay. None of what she was doing, and then it was kind of giggled. And if I'm Todd, I'm going, nice pretend voice there in the beginning of trying to make me sound serious, and then you laughed at it. So I really think that it has to come from the gut from you. And when I say that, I mean, like, you got to mean it, and you got to mean it enough that both Todd thinks you mean it and you think you mean it. And I don't think you need to think it, you need to know it. So I'm questioning the level of seriousness that you're going to have, because I think he reads right through the serious first 15 seconds and goes, bark, 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 bark. I'm not listening to this, Mom. And then all of a sudden you giggled about it, and let's see what he ends up doing.
Good boy.
Now, he barked at you and sat, and I think that was kind of his move of, here, this'll get it. And he just sat. I don't think he sat to be respectful. I don't think he sat to make you happy. I think he sat as a move on his part to go, this is in my arsenal. Every once in a while I sit down and she gives me the food. So I really think we have to, like, have a complete change as far as where the dog is in your pack. How does your husband work with him? Like, I just heard Todd asking to be on the couch. What is the normal response to that?
We've recently changed that since we started watching the videos. He's not been on the couch or the bed.
Have you seen anything change from that?
Some. He definitely seems to look for more permission now.
Good.
Than he does just do it.
Good. How firm have you been with that? I mean, is it all the time, or is it majority of the time, or is it less than the majority of the time, but it is better than it once was? How rigid have you become when it comes to those rules?
I only faltered on that the one time, and that was the night leading up to the bites that I sent you pictures of.
Okay.
And it was because I had stayed up until 4:30 in the morning working on a project,
Okay.
and I didn't have the energy to fight with him to stay off of the pet.
Understandable. So it sounds like you've been pretty consistent. How about what's your husband's name?
Joseph.
Joseph. How about Joseph?
Joe doesn't do as much with the dogs as I do.
How about
But
it?
if I've given him a rule, he goes with those rules.
Okay, so he's been consistent. So it sounds like you've got Joseph trained pretty well. So is Joseph consistent though? Has he followed pretty consistently with this? So let me back up. How long has it been since you've stopped the on the furniture thing?
How long has that been? A week? Week and a half, maybe?
Pretty recent. Okay.
Yeah.
How was your routine prior to watching these a month ago when it comes to feeding? Is the feeding thing new to you guys, or have you been doing stuff like this? Or has it been like, just give them some food so I don't get my hand bit off?
Both the dogs are on a morning and evening schedule.
You got two dogs?
I do. I have two beagles.
Okay. That's good information. Keep going. I didn't mean to cut you off. I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. So they eat morning and night, because that's what the vet told us that would help keep them from, getting overweight.
Sure.
With Copper, he's over submissive. That's the other beagle.
Copper. Okay.
Now Todd, we've been trying to associate that it's okay for our hands to be near the food, because there are 6 nieces, 2 nephews, and so on and so forth in the family.
Yeah.
And we don't ever want that to be an issue with the kids.
That would be very scary, I think.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's interesting. So Copper's how old?
Copper's about 1.5 years, maybe 2. He's also a rescue.
Okay, 1.5 years, maybe 2. Completely different personality. What about Copper? What does Copper get away with? Does Copper cuddle with Joseph and Jennifer, or does Copper follow the same rules now?
Copper started following the same rules last night by his own choice. He actually prefers to sleep on the floor.
Okay. Now, when you say sleep, do you mean in the bed, or do you mean just watching TV?
No, I'm overnight sleep. He got into his dog bed instead of into our bed.
Okay. So normally the dogs were sleeping in the bed though before that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that stopped a week ago.
Yeah.
Okay. Good. What about Copper and Todd together? Is Todd a bully? Does he pick on Copper a lot?
That's maybe an understatement.
Yes.
He pushes Copper around all the time. Yes.
Okay.
So I was trying to keep Copper in the bed to maybe move him up in the pack.
Yeah. I think you're getting the idea of the pack idea. Copper right now is on the bottom, and Todd thinks he's on the top, and maybe he is. I don't know for sure, but he really thinks he is. So I think a couple things. You're right on with stopping the no more sleeping in the bed, because here's the thing, like, these guys are real mannerism things. They're just into physical stuff. And so if you are if a dog lays on top of you, it's a clear sign of dominance. Now, one of the things that I don't like about when I see you feeding, so I'm going to rewind this up and I'm going to show this again. Not this one, but I've seen it on, I think, 3 out of the 4 videos. I really want to show this so that you guys can see this. I gotta get the volume on it.
Easy.
Just a heavy growl at you out there. He's moaning and whining, and you got the bowl of food. And the problem I see with it, Jennifer, is your actions are showing him that he is the boss. By you stroking him and caressing him, and him showing this dominance over you, and you really being submissive. So the leader, like grooming, like the leader of the pack gets groomed by everybody else. So this one, there's one of these ones where you got the dog to come and lay down by the food, and he's eating, and you're like stroking him and petting him, and really giving him like the best treatment in the world, and he's just blatantly kind of showing you up. And so I wouldn't do any of that anymore. I'd stop caressing and petting and doing all that stuff, because you're kind of like his maid right now. You bring the food, you clean him while he's eating. He's just really settled into the role of being like he's the king around your house. So I think he's got to get checked into place. And I don't mean it has to be physical, because he's just a little dog. But I do think it has to be physical enough for him to understand that he's not going to dominate you. Like when he turns and rears back at you and snips at you when you go to pet him by his neck, to me, that's not, it's scary. Like to me, he's so far beyond his dominance that it's dangerous to me. And he literally got you a couple times. So I think what has to happen is I wouldn't be putting my hands down there by his neck. I'd be using that leash. So your leash and collar, you got a flat collar on him? Is that just like a flat nylon?
It's one of the cinch collars.
Okay, I'd take
so
that off.
Way he can't pull it out.
What kind of pinch collar? Has it got barbs on it?
No barbs.
It's just a slip?
It's a flat nylon, but it's one of the ones so if they back out of a leash that it doesn't come off.
Okay. I'm going to have you I want you to get a chain, a slip chain. They call them choke collars. They're not choke collars. If you put it on the right way, it'll work. If you put it on the wrong way, it chokes them. So you know what I'm talking about? Slip chain?
Yeah.
I'm going to, otherwise I'll grab one out of my bag. I'm going to do that. Hold on 1 second. You guys wait 1 second with me. I'm going to grab this, and the people on Facebook and the people on Instagram are going to be able to see it. Jennifer, you won't be able to, but I'll get it so that you can. You'll be able to see it eventually. I'm going to flip this camera around. So I'm going to have you get a slip chain, and I'm going to have you start using it on him. And the reason is, let's see where I got mine. I want it to be big enough. So this is the one I'm going to use. So this is the one I'm using on my dogs. So I've got it so that both the Instagram people can see. Now, there's a right way and a wrong way to use this. And if you put it on backwards, it will choke them. So if you're going to, what I want, now we're going to get to some fixes, some things that I'm going to have you do to try to work on fixing this. And I'm going to warn you right away, it's not overnight. So it's going to take some time. So you're going to have to be patient. But I'm going to have you start working on stuff and just getting little wins, and then having it try to snowball and go in the right direction. Starting out, I don't want you to get bit anymore. I don't want him to have a chance to bite you. Because if it were me, I'd be in a little bit of fear. I would be afraid to put my hands down by that dog, because I'd be afraid of him nipping at me the way he is. And it's not even nipping, those are bites. So this slip chain, when you put it together, I'm going to ask you to start being consistent with which side you put your dog on. So do you walk your dog a lot? Do you take him for walks?
We've been doing a lot more exercise off the leash in the backyard.
Okay. I'm going to ask you to put him on the leash. And I'm going to want you to work him on the lead. And I'm going to have you pick a side, left or right. I don't care which side it is. But I want him consistently in a left or right spot. Now, Jennifer, our call is for 30 minutes. So if it cuts out, I'm going to send you another thing. You'll have to call me back on it. But I think it might shut off. It might shut off after 30 minutes. But so this slip chain, if you put them on your left side, that's where I put my dogs. So when you take the chain, guys, you put it through here, and you make it like the letter P. Okay? So it's when it faces the dog, you're going to look like you're putting it over the dog's head in the letter P. So let's just say this is the letter P, this is the dog's head, and it goes in. Now the thing about this is if you correct, so Jennifer, you're going to have to make corrections with the lead, and it's going to be sharp and bold, enough to pick the pup's feet right up off the ground. It's going to be strong correction. And you're going to see this thing simulates a bite. It bites the neck, and then it releases. Bites the neck, then it releases. Just like when he turns and bites you, you react. Well, this is going to bite him, and you're not going to get bit out of it. So it's going to be a quick correction and then a quick release. Now the problem is, guys, if you put this on the wrong way, all I did was turn it around. When you bring this up and you snap it to bite the dog, it never releases. So there's a right way and a wrong way to use this thing. It doesn't turn the pressure off on that dog. You have to have it so that it turns the pressure on and turns the pressure off. So I want you to get one of those chains, Jennifer, and then I want you to start putting the dog on your left side, and then I want you to correct the dog when it needs to be corrected with that. And it's going to real quickly go, wow, she's a lot stronger, bolder than I ever thought. It's going to take a firm correction, and I bet you that little dog will react very quickly to it and can't get at you. So now I want you to start doing that when you're feeding them, and what I'd like you to do is have that dog lift up to get the dog to sit and hold on to the food. Now the dog's sitting on your left-hand side, a lot like we do it. And I want you to hold that position until that dog shuts up. If he turns and barks at you and barks at you and barks at you and barks at you and barks at you, he doesn't eat, period. Now the bowl, the amount of food that you're putting in that bowl, I want it to be a smaller amount, like maybe a fifth of that at the most. And then what I want you to do is work on him being patient and not growling and not being dominant, and you correcting until he gives into that. And then I want you to set the bowl of food down and let him eat. I don't want you petting him. I don't want you praising him. I don't want any of that stuff. I want you on the other end of that leash. And when he's done eating with that bowl of food, then I want you to correct him, have him sit, reach down, pick the bowl up, and do it again. But I don't want any of this soothing during the feeding time. I want it to be, you're going to behave the right way, Todd, and then you're going to eat. And I would, how quickly does Todd eat? Does he eat pretty quick?
Yeah, if they're both in the cage, he does.
If they're both in there, don't feed them together. I don't want you to feed them together. What I do want you to do is I want you to feed Copper in front of Todd. And Todd, one of you are going to be on the leash with Todd and just requiring him to just sit there and be a good dog. And he's not going to be able to, he's going to fuss, he's going to bark, he's going to whine. You're going to make him sit through it and watch Copper eat the whole time. Copper's going to maybe get a little confidence out of this as well. But so we're gonna feed Copper in front of Todd. Then once Todd shows us that he's doing, and remember, you don't expect finished product after the first minute of doing this. It's gonna be, you're gonna look for just tiny little wins. And then at night, absolutely no more on the furniture, absolutely no more in bed with you. So the feeding time is gonna turn into a dominance thing where you're gonna become a little bit higher in the pack. Now at dinner, what do you guys do in the evening with the dogs? Do you place train at all?
No, place train.
Okay. Do you have any desire for it? I think it's a really nice tool.
I'm willing to try.
Because I think what it's going to do is it's going to start taking away freedoms that the dogs have where they go and do whatever they want. And I think that's not the way our pack needs to run. Our pack needs to run, they go and do what I want them to do and I allow them to do. So place training to me makes that easy. You've seen a million people doing it with success here over the last couple of weeks. So I would recommend that. But then I want you to do this at night. I want you to, now you're going to have to watch this later. I want you to take that dog, and I'm going to film this for the Instagram or the Facebook people actually. I want you to take the pup and I want you to have it on its bed, or if you want, you can have it on the floor. Again, I'd have the pup on the slip collar. Don't take the pup off the slip collar. You've got complete control over him on that slip collar, and you can correct him and mean it. Like, if you need to, you can get a sharp correction. You don't risk yourself getting bit. You don't have any problems with that. But at night, when you're watching TV, I want the pup to be laying there, and I want you to just take your feet, and I want you to set your feet up on top of him. And if he's apt to bite at you, put your boots on so he can't get at you. But I want feet on top. Now I'm doing it to Spry right now, so watch that video and you'll see what Spry just did was she rolled over and put her feet up, complete submission. If your dog squirts out on you, wants to squeeze out and get out from underneath you, now this is where when you were at dinner and doing all that stuff, he was thinking, well, this is good, she's kind of grooming me. He's not going to like this he might not like this because this is a complete sign of domination. This is what he was doing to you at night when you were sleeping. He was probably laying on top of you and showing you, I'm the boss. So you're going to be the boss now. So you're going to put your feet on. And if he squirts out and shoots out on you, I want you to make sure you got control of him with that leash. And no. And your tone is going to have to be serious. And you can't get serious for 30 seconds and then giggle about it. Because he's going to go, BS, I'm calling you out. So it's going to take like a serious culture change. And it's going to be the same thing that I talked with Jeff Trudell about, the same thing I've talked with Ben about. Anyone who has said that they've had issues with place training, with dogs getting off, the problem is because someone's been letting them get off and not correcting. It's zero tolerance. So it's culture change. It's complete 180. Because right now you have to stop them cold turkey. You can't just go from, if you're a smoker, we're not going to wean you off of your misbehavior. We're going to say, you're not smoking anymore. And that's how you're going to kick this. Well, Todd's not dominating anymore. That's how we're going to kick this. So it's got to be cold turkey. And it's going to take a huge commitment from both you and Joe. So I think you can do simple things. I think you can feed Copper in front of Todd. I think you can get a slip chain and use it and keep Todd under control. And the disrespect has to end. Like him sitting there barking at you and then he puts his butt down on the ground and you praise him is not going to change his behavior. Like he's super confused by that. I was confused by it when I was watching it. I thought, boy, he's acting like a real jerk and you're pretty quick to say good boy. Well, you have to kind of play the hard mom right now and go, you know what? I'm going to look for little wins, but I'm not going to allow you to be a real jerk and still get away with what it is ultimately what you want. Because he's figured out a few things. That little sit move on his part, that was a quick move to go, she might put it down if I do this. But he still sat there and barked at you the whole time. So I think you really have to, it's gonna totally come back to you and Joe. And I don't know that you're going to have Copper do it, but it's going to be a shift for Todd to have to watch Copper get some freedoms that, Todd wants to earn and is eventually maybe going to earn. But Copper, he has earned it. Is Copper a he?
Yeah.
So Copper has earned it. If that's his behavior and he's doing the stuff that you want, I mean, what is on a scale of 1 to 10? How do you rate Copper?
Copper doesn't actually listen to anything except for come, but he doesn't do anything. He stays right by my feet and lays there.
He's neutral, so he doesn't really do anything to make you real proud and happy, but he doesn't do anything to piss you off. Is that what it amounts to?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Sums him up perfectly.
Well, what I would do is I'd try to get a little out of Copper. I'd try to get a little something out of Copper. Is Copper food driven at all?
Only if it is like people food. None of the dog foods or treats really motivate him at all. Okay. Well, I would do the hot dog.
I think the routine that we've been doing with Spry is I would try to mimic that. I would try because I think you get a lot out of it. I think you get, with recall with Todd. Did you say you had a good recall with him? Does he come to you when you what happens if there's no food around? Is he still aggressive?
Not really.
He's
more affectionate. Now, like my husband tried to put his feet on him while he was listening to you say that we should try that. First thing he did was jump right up.
Sure. Not surprising.
Yeah.
So I think that's clear. I think the other thing you can do is he's a pretty little dog. Pick him up and hold him on his back. So all 4 legs are up. And you'll probably have Copper really wrestle and fuss to get out of that. This is all stuff that I think you can do, especially if he's not aggressive at that time. I mean, if he's not biting you all the time, that's good. But if he's not super aggressive, one of the things I think you could do is do these drills to establish yourself in this pack without food being involved with it, then you don't have to risk the idea of getting bit. I still think you have zero tolerance when it comes to the food, but some of these things at night, some of these drills, another thing you should do is you should eat in front of him. I don't know if you're doing that or not, but eat in front of Todd before Todd eats. Leader always eats first. So that's super simple. I don't care if it's crackers. Eat some potato chips in front of him. But eat before Todd, because the leaders are always eating first. So no more soothing him and caressing him and hoping that he doesn't bite your hand off when he's eating, because that's just fueling that fire of him being a big boss. So I would eat in front of him. I'd make him Copper eat in front of him. At night, if anything, I'd stand up. I wouldn't sit on the couch and have him laying on my lap, but I'd stand up and I'd hold him like a baby, and he'd have to be on his back and his feet have to be up. And when he wiggles and fusses, he doesn't get out. Because if he wiggles and fusses and you set him down, you're giving him what he wants. You can't have that. You got to get it to the point where he can lay in your arms without fussing. That would be a really nice step. You got to get him where you can have him on. You can have him on place on the floor, and you can put your legs up on him. He doesn't squirm out on you. That's a huge step. Those are.
Yeah, he'll let me hold that. He likes it.
That's good. That's good. Now don't do it where it's a big soothing belly rub. It's not a time for him to go to the spa. It's just he's just got to lay there. It's not like you're treating him to a big present here, because that's all that soothing and stroking, and you're the subordinate grooming him. I just mean you just hold him. He doesn't fuss. You just hold on to him. So work on that. I think that's stuff that you can do. These are all real easy things you can do that will start to hopefully shift and tip the scale in your favor as far as being a leader. But you're going to have to be really, really serious about it, like consistent.
Okay.
So I'd start on that. I'd start with some of that stuff. And then the tracking part, man, you get this part done and the tracking will come easy. Because dogs are looking for jobs. That dog's been bred to have a nose. The tracking part will come easy. It's the control part and the foundation that you can have the best tracking dog in the world, but if you can't feed him at night without getting your hand ripped off, I don't want them. I'm not interested in that. So we have to get that part taken care of first.
Okay.
So smaller portions of food, so you can repeat this over and over, and you don't have to go now. And then the other thing is, once you get to that point, I don't want you doing this yet, but once you get to that point, I want you to be able to reach down and just pick the food up from the dog without a growl, without anything. I'd like to have him sit for you and go, I'm ready for it. Can I have it back? But right now, that's going from A to Z, and I think going from there, you're going to lose a finger. So I think you got to build up to that. So I would use small portions, and I'd let the dog eat until he's finished. And then I'd reset him. And I'd let him eat until he's finished. And then I'd reset him. And I'd eat until he's finished. And I'd reset him. And I'd get, first things first, get the behavior before he gets to eat. Then we'll work on the behavior while he's eating. But baby steps.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah, that sounds good.
I liked that, more. The first okay was, I was going to ask you, do you believe that or not? Because the first okay was, okay. Well, Todd knew you weren't serious when you said okay. But the second, you said it like you meant it. And I think that's important. Like, just tiny little things like that are important with the dog. Okay? There.
Okay.
Joe, thank you, Joe, for covering for me.
You're yelling at
Yeah, I mean, honestly, Jennifer, what do you think right now? Do you think you can do it?
Yeah, I think I can.
Okay. Do you know you can do it?
Yes.
Yes, as the little question marks
Yes.
pop up out of your head. That might be half of it. See, when I first started talking, I really was impressed with I felt like your level of confidence was strong. As the conversation's gone on, I've lost it.
No, I feel like I'm gonna have to relearn a couple of things. His training's gonna be a lot different from any previous dogs I've had.
Yes.
So,
yes.
Like the correct when feeding about something that I was told to do with a previous dog.
Say that again.
So, like the caressing while he's eating.
Yeah.
trying to get him to calm down.
Okay.
And putting him near his food, getting him used to that, like it's okay.
What dog?
It'll just be different.
What dog did you do that with?
I had a chow mix dog before I had the beagles, and his training was extensive, but it was also when I still lived with my parents, so I had my mother working with him as well, so that helped.
Sure. And how did that work? Did it work for you?
Yeah.
Was he aggressive?
Yeah, I could take anything from that dog, no problem.
Was he aggressive?
He never got to the extent that Todd is at. He was broken of it before he ever got this bad.
Sure. It's interesting. It's interesting because that's 2 dogs. How many have you had? A lot of dogs in your life?
Maybe 8 dogs total in my entire life.
So 2 out of 8. That's a pretty high percentage. Like, so I'm wondering, like, is there something going on with the process of the feeding and this is just looking deeper into it, but I think it all boils down to where the dog is in your pack. Like, where does he think he is anyway, or where does he know he is, and where do you think he is? So it's gotten to a point that was he like that when you brought him home at 6 months?
Because he was sick, he really was more submissive and still in quarantine.
Okay.
So he didn't start really showing his personality until we had him for 3 or 4 months.
Okay. So it's only gotten bad more recently.
Yes.
Yeah. So what it's telling me is the snowball is rolling in the wrong direction, and it has to do with something that's going on at your house. Now you can do. That's the good part. The good part is now you can change that. If you had said no, it was like this from day one when I came. Hell, he might just be a badass little dog. Like, he might just be wicked that way. I don't think most dogs are like that. So it's for whatever reason, it's something in that where he feels he is with your family, that he is getting kind of an attitude, and that sometimes. Who knows where it comes from, but the attitudes come. The attitudes need to get changed, is what it is, and that is like 180 as far as the culture goes. So you got to mix it up. You got to change something up, because right now it's going the wrong direction, the way it sounds.
Yeah, I agree with that.
So I'd start out with those things, and then let me know if you see any changes, good or bad, and then. There's other stuff we can do. I mean, that's not it. I mean, the cool thing about the call-in part is we're going to really jump into one specific thing that's going on with a person. And I don't deal with food aggression much. I don't know that I've ever had a dog even growl at me. I don't know that I've ever had 2 dogs growl at each other. But I think it comes from, I don't think there's any confusion in our house, or very, very little in our house when it comes to the pyramid. As far as who's on top, we just don't see that, and it comes from, that's cultural, and so something going on there gets that dog to think he can get away with it, and you and Joe make some changes. Copper plays his part and really gets kind of the good end of the stick on that one, and we'll see how Todd reacts. Might get worse for a little bit, I don't know. But I would say we need to make some of those changes, and those are the easiest ways to start and see if we get results. If you've only had the dog not sleeping with you for a week, I'd be surprised to see any changes just yet. But so this is real fresh, so it might take some time.
All right.
All right.
All right.
Cool. All right. Well, first off, thank you for. I'm really glad that worked. I'm glad the phone worked. I hope everyone could hear it. I'm going to go through some of these questions. So, Jennifer, thank you so much for doing it. You have to keep us posted now. what my plan is going to be, because I think that worked, and I'm hoping some people got some stuff out of that, because we didn't talk so much puppy nipping and biting, but that is more of a micro example of your macro problem right now. The little nipping and biting when they're puppies can lead to this, guys. So that's when we nip it literally quickly. And I'm going through it with Spry. So we went through it at the Whitetails Unlimited banquets all weekend. The beautiful thing about that was by Sunday or Saturday, the second banquet, we had a little puppy that tested 1 out of 10 instead of 10 out of 10. And so her habits were starting to get changed the right direction, which is what we're looking for. So, but it comes, the same dominance things that I'm talking to Jennifer about can apply with any of you guys with your pups as well. So, these are all things that we're trying to do with Spry. Spry is different because she's a puppy compared to Todd, who's a year old. So, and on a much different level, like Todd's gone a lot further in that direction. So we gotta 180 it. We gotta start working our way back, and then building off of those little wins. And I think you'll have some. And then I want to know how it goes, Jennifer. And then we'll help if there's other things that need to be done as well.
Okay, awesome.
All right. Well, thanks for doing that, guys. I'm gonna do this. I think I'm gonna click off on you, Jennifer. Jennifer, do me a favor. Just shoot me in a message your address. I'd like to send you something for doing this. It was a gutsy move on your part, and you did a great job with it.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, you bet.
Definitely a lot.
You and Joe, and then it sounds like you've done a nice job with Joe, so keep up with that. But Joe needs to be consistent with it too. And from what I hear, and from what I've seen, Joe's not afraid to be consistent with it. And Joe, I can sense from Joe, just from hearing Joe chime in a couple times in the background, it tells me he's in. You got support there. That's important, because that consistency is going to have to be there. Joe, same thing for you. I want you to be the same way. Like, you two can jockey it out for who the boss is, but as long as Todd knows that he's playing third fiddle in this band, you guys will be a lot better off. So, all right?
Okay.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
You bet. Okay. I'm going to click off of that, guys. Now, I really want to hear what you guys think, because that was new and that was interesting. I'm going to go through some of these questions. Now, our Instagrammers, gosh, thanks for following along with us on that one. I'm going to shut this off quick. Instagram is such a new thing for me. So I'm going to spin this around. I'm going to put it onto our little sleeping angel here. I'm going to go through some of these questions. So I was not paying attention to any of them. And it looks like maybe they're comments. But let me bring this up, because I thought that was interesting. I think that is something that can help help a lot of people. I think we'll probably try to do that maybe once a week. But so now I'm going to go through. I'm going to see. But like I said, guys, I'd be interested to hear your thoughts. Don't be nervous. We're here with you till the end. Good evening. Hard to find a black dog at night. Oh, I was out there. So this is way back. I'm going to speed through some of these. She's doing great. Yeah, so tonight, guys, the Spry thing was minimal. Obviously, we wanted to focus on the call with Jennifer. We did get a little bit with her. Place training is going awful for a 4-month-old. She thinks it's a game. Okay, Aaron sent me a message. Aaron, I want to hear more about that. I saw, was it you that sent me a video? I got to go through some of my videos. Someone sent me a video of a little chocolate lab that was just barking on the place and coming off of it, creeping off of it. I don't know if that was yours or not. But so if Aaron, with place training going awful for a 4-month-old that thinks it's a game, 0 tolerance. You have to revert back, and you're going to have to be firm about it. The game, you saw how I handled this puppy when she jumped off for the first time. It was real firm, and it was very black and white. There was no confusion whatsoever. So, Aaron, I'm going to pick your brain on that a little bit more and find out where it went wrong. So, when you have the issue, Aaron's having an issue with her 4-month-old. A couple questions for you. Was it going well before? And then what happened to change it? Because we're going to reverse engineer the problem. And we're going to find out what happened, when did it happen, what changed, because something did, or it wouldn't have happened this way. So, Aaron, I want you to think on that and let me know what your thoughts are. We're struggling with Gracie making eye contact with me. Mark, sometimes that comes with time. It comes a lot with I don't know how old Gracie is, but when you start doing some of that recall stuff, when you start doing that sit stuff, I get dogs focusing on my little fingers because I put food in them. So I get my little pups to put focus on that. And then I end up going from a little bit of food to bringing my hand up to my face, and the little pup's eyes come right with me. And really what these dogs are doing is they're looking for the next move. That's why they're looking at us. It takes time and it takes connection. And when I was struggling with Spry for retrieves, I didn't have connection. I really feel like she wasn't ready, and I didn't get her ready to connect with me. We spent the majority of our time at that point working on connection, feel, trust. Very simple exercises, but with a lot of success. And we built on that. So we got momentum going with positive stuff. I didn't go any further and risk having negative sessions. I wanted to go further. I wanted to go faster. I wanted to make some changes. But the more I did, the more we struggled, and the further back we went. So I simplified our sessions. Go back a couple weeks and watch that. There was one day that I just finally said, the hell with it. I'm simplifying this. We're going to do very simple stuff, and we're going to make it very, very good. We're going to do it great. And once we do it great, I'll change it, and I'll add a little bit. And once we do that great, I'll change it and add a little bit. And I essentially told myself, slow down. And once I slowed down, we started speeding up. It's amazing, right? So I decided I'm not going to rush, and things went much quicker. So I think that's important with all of our stuff. Someone had a tornado warning. Chris Borgman, I hope everything's all right there. This is where everyone could hear. I hope you guys could hear that loud and clear. Can hear her fine. I thought that worked out really well. That was through the computer, through Zoom, zoom.us. That Steph hooked me up with that. Let's see. You guys could hear her. Someone got in late. Chris Wirtz joined in late. This call-in thing is great. Michael, I think we're going to do it on a more regular basis. We might even have people call in. Chris Wirtz, hello. Get him a bunny. Jeff Janis joined in. Jeff, how are you doing? This is great info. Thanks again for sharing. No problem, Brian Britton. Think you need a bigger film staff. I can't hardly afford to pay the film staff I have right now, and that's me. So where's Sierra when I need her? I pay her with Pokemon cards. Trevor from Tennessee was in. Jeremy Miner, Willie Marlin joined in. Brooke was in. Scott came in. Love the call-in. Great. I'm glad you guys liked that. I think the reason we're doing it is because there have been several times where people called in, and I don't know that I saw it that much tonight with Jennifer. A little bit maybe. The videos helped me with her more than anything because I really caught small things in the video. Her giggling after being serious reroads everything she just worked on as far as being serious. So I say it a lot. Dogs read us better than we can read them. You guys got to recognize that. Angie had to go. We do not have food aggression, but we have puppy nipping issues, especially with my daughters. That is a pack thing. So it's particularly with your daughters. It's particularly with Spry and anyone she meets new. She tests every single person. So I end up training the people more than I do the dog at a Whitetails Unlimited event. And it's to keep them from setting her up to fail. When she nips and bites, I take the attention away. I don't have to be real harsh. I just take the attention away. She wants attention. So as soon as I take it away from her, she realizes, damn it, I didn't make the right move there. As soon as she changes and she behaves the way I want her to, I tell these people, pet her now and pet her with confidence. When I say pet her like you mean it. And they pet her with a little more confidence, and all of a sudden Spry goes, oh, I can't get away with biting on this one. So it's completely, you are going to have to work with the daughters, Mark. So we'll work on that. We can show some of that stuff. That's something that we can show. It's very easy to show it. Anytime I go to a show, a seminar, deer camp for Whitetails Unlimited, we see it all the time. Checking in from Tennessee. Food aggression, my main issue with his dog Jax. So David, I hope you were able to listen in on some of that stuff. I'd be interested to hear the story behind that one. Reby, how long is that chain? What chain? That chain that I had, this one. I think it's an 18-incher. It might be a 20. So they come in increments of inches, and then they have diameters as well. I like a little bit bigger one, a little thicker chain, and long enough so that when I put it on the dog, I have maybe 6 inches of tail hanging out so that I can get enough correction on it. Well, you don't want a dog on opposite side of the way you shoot a gun. So if you shoot right, dog's on the left, and if you shoot left, you want the dog on the right. That's how we do it, Matt. Jason Perriman joined in. Steph joined in from the basement. Let's see. Van Beek was in. Lacey enjoyed the call-in. Kudos to Jennifer. Yeah, that took brass balls, Jennifer. Nice job. I really appreciate you doing that. You're a great sport sharing this, Jennifer. Very informative. Totally. Megan Smith. We're all behind Jennifer. How are you? We as dog owners are always learning to connect with the dogs we raise. That's for sure. Confidence is an issue. You got this, girl. Feel it, know it, love it, breathe it, and you will live it. Be successful. So Jennifer, if this isn't a confidence raiser, you've got everyone here behind you. So you will be able to do this. It's going to take some time. Brooke Donlin joined in. Brooke, I don't even think you have a dog. Get after it, Jennifer. You can do this. Call-ins are a great idea. We're going to continue to do them, guys. Lots of information. There was a ton tonight. A little bit different format than what we've been doing, but I think that is. I think it's important to mix it up a little bit too. We're not just because we're mixing it doesn't mean we're not sticking with being solid with this little pup. We're still going to continue. When I don't do a live video with her, it doesn't mean we didn't train. We did. Here's some submission. So Steph's here working on the total submission, licking of the lips. That's what we're looking for. That's a sign of submission. The ears laying back. You can tell she's not afraid. The tail is the indicator of happiness. She's pretty happy. She's tempted right now. Leaning out. All right. Thanks for being the first call on Jennifer. It was an awesome idea. I'm glad. Thanks for being a good sport. All right. When you are at an event, do you allow people to approach the pets? Yeah, I do, Vicky. I want them to. So Vicky wants to know, do I let people pet Spry? I want them to because I want that interaction. See that licking? See this wanting to roll over? Bad habit. We don't reward it. So she's found an escape mechanism. Ooh, I'll roll over in my belly and they'll pet me. She learned that at Whitetails Unlimited. So when it happens, we stop giving her the attention. So at we encourage people to come up to her. What I have to do is I have to suck it up once in a while, Vicky, and I have to tell people that it's intimidating to me sometimes to tell them, but I have to be I got to be clever on my delivery. But I have to explain to people when she starts biting and chewing on their hands why they're not allowed to do that. And immediately the answer usually is, oh, that's okay, I understand, she's just a puppy. And I say, no, I'm not talking to the dog, I'm talking to you. No, we don't allow that. So I can't let them set this dog back in training. And we run into that a lot, okay? 9 out of 10 people that come up to her, they're very quick to get down on their hands and knees, put themselves at the dog's level. They're very quick to reach out and kind of let the pup climb up on them. It's a complete dominance thing. They're very quick as soon as she starts to bite or nip at them to just allow it, or they'll get kind of spooky and they go one of these. Now it turns into a game. So now the little pup starts nipping and pawing and all sorts of stuff. So it erodes so quickly. So I really have to be on top of that. So do I let people approach and pet? Yes, as long as they do it the right way. And usually my way of doing it is by saying, hey, I need you to help me train this dog. And they usually look at me like, what? And I say, I need you to help me train this dog. I don't want that habit, and this is why. And then we get into it, and next thing you know, they've made a change, the dog's made a change, and they usually think it's pretty cool. So that's how we typically approach that. Another reason why you're top notch in my book. I don't know what reason that is, Chris, but I thank you for it. I think the column was very good. Good, Dennis. I'm glad you enjoyed that. When an older dog is on place, how do you have him leave the place since we don't call the dog off of it? We pick the puppy up. But what about the older dogs? Older dogs, I do call them off once they understand place very clearly, black and white. The reason I'm not calling this puppy off is because you just saw it this evening, guys. She jumped on and off it 2 or 3 times because there was another dog on it, and I had nothing to do with it. She put herself up there, and she came off of it. What happened then the next time I put her up there? She jumped off of it. So for weeks and weeks and weeks, we've worked on this place training and build this black and white thing where you don't come off. And in 30 seconds of her jumping off of it twice, she cleared all that out of her mind and thought, oh, I can get away with it. That's a really good example of how quickly things can reverse. So good habits usually don't form that quickly. The bad ones usually do, because the bad ones are much more instinctive. It's much more instinctive for her to jump on and off of it than it is for her to jump on it and stay on it. So that doesn't come natural. That takes more repetition and consistency. It erodes very quickly when it's natural to her to jump on and off. So I had to be very quick to correct that, and I was. So with the older dogs, once the habit is formed and they understand it, and I have confidence in them, I'll call them off of it, no problem. But I'll also send them onto it from a distance, where I can't do that with her yet either. So I do a lot of things with dogs as they get older and they get better with stuff. I start ramping it up a little bit. And I start allowing them to have some of the freedoms that they've earned. That's one that they've earned. Now she might have to go to the bathroom because she's been sleeping and just got up. So that was fascinating, said Jeff. I like the call-in. That was great. Call-in was awesome. Awesome, you guys. Gracie's having an issue with puppy nipping, mostly with our daughters. Do you think holding the puppy on her back would help with my daughters? For sure. All that is dominant stuff. Could you bring her outside quick? So I think this is a sign to me. She slept for a while. Steph's going to take her outside. There's no puppy to watch anymore. So could you do that with your daughters? Yeah, you sure could. I think you should. I would have the daughters feed. I would have the daughters feed the pup. I would have the daughters do all this stuff. So I think you can do the holding upside down. Now the problem with that is I don't know how big the dog is. So eventually, like right now, Spry's big enough that it's hard to hold on to her for a long time. And some of this stuff is going to take a long time. So you can't give in just because it's taking a long time or the dog wins. Not me, but she does that too, said Aaron. I think we were talking about jumping off the bed before. Missed the first part, but I'm excited to go back and watch from the beginning. That's the beauty of it, Stephanie. That's why we like Facebook. I was live on Instagram tonight, too. Problem with that is it's gone now. Never going to see it again. Almost first-time call-in session. Awesome first-time call-in session. Great idea. Thank you. Shaldig, I sent you a message. Your bed is ready to ship. What was it? There was something else. Oh, the whistle. You were waiting on the whistle. I've had a lot of questions on the whistles, guys. We've got whistles ordered right now. I'm using a 211.5. It's a British style. We actually found some, and we've got them with DogBone on them now. So, and with a matching lanyard. So they are coming right now. We don't have them, but they're going to be available on our website. But Shaldig had asked me about that. And so I can ship. What I can do is, if you want to put the order in for the bed, I can ship that out, Shaldig. So. And I can get you the whistle when they come in. What's the best way to take your dog off of place? My pup knows what place is, and he goes on the cot, but I can't get him to stay on it when he's excited. He's 14 weeks now. So, zero tolerance. We can't allow him to come off, whether he's excited or not. So what I would do, Justin, what I recommend is putting him right here, just like I did, and he stays on it. And then if he's really good, but he gets excited when something happens, I'd simulate whatever that is and get that to happen. So if maybe it's someone walks in the room. So I'd have someone walk through the room and walk past, and as soon as he broke off, and he's going to have to go, whoa. Just because it's exciting doesn't mean I can get off. So you're going to set him up and stage these things to add excitement until he figures out that the same habit has to remain regardless of outside environment. So start out when he's got to be 100% with no distractions. Then add a small one and have 100%. Then add a small one, 100%. Small one, 100%. Small one, 100%. So don't put him into a big situation where he's going to fail. If you can't, because you don't want to, it's just going backwards. I'm going to have to go back and watch the first half of the call-in because Jax turns into a different dog when food comes in the picture. He begins to shake as if he's freezing. Tail
quits wagging, his body becomes rigid, and I've noticed pups will get large, his pupils will get large and fill his eyes. Then he begins intermittent growling. So, David, I would look at that as a session where it would be no different than when my puppy gets excited and shakes and whines and does that. We don't feed till that behavior changes. And when it does, we reward. So that would be my approach to that, just reading that quick thing. There's probably more that I would dig into. Yes, it was going great. Then one day she started barking and nipping. Our bad was stopping for a couple days. Now it's starting over. Consistency and repetition. So it's got to be consistent and repetitious in the right way. If you're consistent and repetitious in the wrong way, that habit forms a lot quicker. So we have to be very careful with that. What would you recommend for bedding mat for the dog crate? Plus, what is the mat that the pup is laying on now for place training? I bet you someone jumped in for me, Zach, on that. It's an elevated cot. We do offer them through. It's a Caranda style. I think it's designed well. We're working on a little bit better design right now, but I think you got to have something that the pup can't get a hold of. I think you got to have some material that lasts very well. What I put in the crate for them, I don't, because they'll just chew it up. So little puppies, they chew on stuff. So if we give them stuff to chew, they become chewers. If we don't give them stuff to chew, they don't chew on stuff. So I don't put anything in the crate. They lay on the floor. Now, when this puppy was a little pup, I put a pillow in there, and she got very comfortable and liked it and would go into the crate and lay and fall asleep on it. But as soon as she started chewing on it, I took it away because I'm not going to create a chewing habit. Now, when they're older, with some of my older dogs, I can soften it up for them. I can give them a pillow. I can give them a bed or something that's padded because they typically don't chew. But if they chew, they don't get it. So I don't put bedding in the mat, or bedding in the crate for the pups. When we got our dog Ellie at 8 weeks, she was crazy food aggressive. My husband and I took zero tolerance approach and worked on it. It took months, but now she's got over it. We still work on it from time to time to keep her honest. She will get snarky with the cat if he bugs her while she eats. So Megan and Chris have Fee, which is the sister to this dog. So they've dealt with it. So thank you, Megan, for saying that, because I honestly don't see it very often, and I think it comes from, it's a pack thing. It's a dog that's challenging strongly for where it is in the pack, and I have zero tolerance for it. I won't allow it. And I think so. It sounds like they did it similar and had some success with it. Now it took time. Jennifer's not going to fix this in 1 week of having the dog not sleep in their bed. But it might have made a difference towards the positive, it sounds like. Well, that's one step. Now, here's a pup that reaches over me, wants to jump up. Set them up for success. Move where she can't get at me. Change the habit. I can't form a habit if I'm not there. Can't form the habit of jumping up on me if I'm not there to jump up on. So, we've got... Let's see. Hope it helps more... Okay, Jennifer's in. Hope it helps more than just me and Todd. I think it did, Jennifer. So, again, thank you. Keep your wife in the basement. Yeah, well, she comes up and cooks once in a while too, Matt. I'm just kidding. She makes great meatloaf. Thanks. Exactly. I find the same thing. My question from this morning that I was late in asking. Tiffany's doing pretty fantastic at the wooden dowel. When would be a good time to introduce the antler dummy? If you feel confident with the wooden dowel, I think you could switch. You might want to go to a canvas bumper. I think you're going to go through the same routine. You got to go through the same routine, April. April's asking a question on hold conditioning. You got to go through the same routine with every object. So you could make a switch to a canvas bumper, switch to the antler dummy. What you want to do right now is, because I think you are making really nice progress. So now what I would do before I would switch is, and I didn't watch your video today or yesterday, so maybe you've done it already, but I'd get them moving their feet. I'd want them standing up with a wooden dowel in their mouth. And I'd want them to have success with that. Then I'd want to get them down on the ground with a wooden dowel. So I think I'd start moving further along in it before I even start changing objects. And then you can mix it up with objects. But I'd get their feet moving with the wooden dowel first. Let's see. Took Grit out tonight on a long run in the field for the first time in a check cord. He loved the freedom of running. Good. problem is what I want to see, Brooke, is I want to see it so that you don't have to have that check cord. So start working on that recall. Get that recall there so that you don't have to have it. And the best way to do that, Brooke, is when the pup wants to go one way, turn and go the other way, and make him ruckus. Make it sound like you're abandoning him. And all of a sudden, Grit's going to go, where's mom going? And want to come catch you. So that's the habit that you want formed, is when I go one way, you better be coming. And then give them a whole bunch of praise when they come. Then you work that check cord right out. Because the problem is if you got the check cord, now you want to work so that you don't have to have the check cord as soon as possible. So it becomes more of a habit than a restraint or constraint. When you tie out Spry, do you have a set time, or are you just looking for an honest change? Looking for a change, Chris. I don't have no time involved. I'm looking for a change. I missed it today. When I did tie her out, she changed, and I didn't praise her in time. So I let her settle in again before we went home. But I missed that time, which was it worked out really well because she fussed for hours, guys. She whined and moaned and didn't settle in, and she kind of pulled a little bit. And I don't know what she's getting so antsy for now, but I'm not going to give her any attention for it. But so that's what I was looking for, and she made the change live while I was doing it, so that was really good. So much better than watching The Bachelor. Well, I haven't watched for a while. It used to be one of my favorite shows, but I just couldn't handle the drama anymore. How do I go about getting a training videos? Carrie, our website, DogBone Hunter, and someone, I don't know if anyone answered, that's where the beds are too. DogBoneHunter.com. Here I used one tonight to back up to hold the Instagram. Here's our puppy DVD. I'll show you. This is our game recovery DVD, and here's our shed DVD. So you can get them at DogBoneHunter.com. The beds are there as well. They're under apparel and gear. These come under the products tabs. Lacey's excited about the whistle. We'll talk about that because we're going to start talking about whistle, because I'm going to teach this dog to sit to the whistle, and this dog's going to start heel work pretty quick. So stay with us for that, because that's going to get fun. Joel, why don't you shoot big bucks like that? Oh man, are we getting to the end here? I'm not sure what that meant. Let's see. Mark is asking Joel that question. Ozzy has been pushing my buttons today. He'll be on place nicely. My phone rang 1 minute. I answered it. He got off his place. He did this 3 times today. How can I correct him without going in the collar's ears? Don't leave. Don't leave the room. And now it's time to start working on that, April. So here's how I fix that problem. Dog gets off the place when you leave the room. So here's the habit. The habit that you reverse engineer it, right? So you know when the dog is getting off the place. It's when you leave and don't have an eye on him. So here's what I'm going to do. Show you exactly how I fix that. So it's Ozzy that's having that issue. So Spry goes on place there, but when I leave the room, she comes off. So here's what I do. I physically move the bed so that it's around the corner of a wall, and then I go in the other room. And then I stand here. And now, when Ozzy comes off, I'm right here, and I'm surprised because you're gonna catch him as he steps off. So you're right here, the old periscope trick. And as soon as Ozzy goes, mom's gone, boom, she steps off, and I'm right here. So don't do that while you're on the phone. Do that when you're in training. And all of a sudden, Ozzy's gonna go, my God, she's everywhere. I can't get away with it. Even when she leaves the room, she knows when I'm gonna step off. Now all of a sudden you're keeping them honest. So start adding that. You can close doors. You can close a door and have glass. Once that door closes, the dog thinks you're gone. You can usually watch right through it and see the dog doesn't notice that you're there. So as soon as the dog looks to make a move, you open the door and come through miraculously at that moment, and the dog goes, my God, she's everywhere. So you gotta start keeping him honest. We've been having the same problem with staying in place. She knows where to go but won't stay, especially the company comes over and just wants to constantly lick everyone. Set them up for success and slowly add introductions of distraction. Slowly. Pups don't need any teething chews. I do not use chews. When my pups teeth, when I say teething, I don't mean getting puppy teeth. I mean losing puppy teeth, getting adult teeth. Between 4 and 6 months is usually when it happens.
I'll give them an ice cube occasionally if that's what they really need to settle them in. It's hard for them to confuse an ice cube with anything else in my house. I'm not going to give them something to chew on and confuse them and train my dogs to chew on stuff. So I will give them an ice cube. It helps numb the gums up a little bit. It gives them something to do to relieve some of that pain and frustration, but it's hard for them to confuse it. So I don't use chews. I think chews are training tools. They create chewers. Kate still won't eat very well. Some days she will, and others days I will take it away like you said. She does not care if I take it away. I can only send her to her food once because the second time she might go to the bowl but doesn't eat it. So you had talked about watering it earlier, and you said watering it seemed to help. Is that not working anymore? Did something change there? That's the question I have. And then if my question is what do you mean she won't go to it twice? Maybe you don't need to send her twice, but I would water it down and maybe I'd make it a smaller portion and see how much she will eat, because eventually she's going to eat. So if it takes a day or two for her to understand that she's got to eat, that's what it takes. So you're not starving the dog, you're teaching the dog that she doesn't have free food. But if you consistently put free food out, you're going to have issues. Now I saw Jason sent me a picture tonight. He's getting some eyes out of that little dog. So that looked good. Okay, do you teach classes in person? We do workshops, Carrie. I do workshops where people will bring their dog to it. We've got 2 of them. One is scheduled in April, one is in May. The April one is full. The May one, we do have a few spots. It's in Buffalo County on the west side of Wisconsin. They're going to be shed training, but it's more foundation than anything. We will get to some of the fun stuff. So yes, we do that a little bit. And then we do some seminars. And we do, next weekend we're down in Milwaukee at the Journal Sentinel show. We're doing 2 seminars down there. I hadn't left the room. His cot is like 4 feet away from me. He did it right with me looking at him. Then we need to have a serious correction, April. So if it's 4 feet, make it 2 feet so that he can't take a step off. And if you have to, put him on a lead and have that little slip chain. And when he steps off, let him know he's not allowed to step off. Like, you have to be serious. So the phone thing, if it's just, I guess, so he just blatantly disrespected you and got off. Well, take steps back, take steps back, take steps back. So 0 tolerance. Have a good night, more. Keep up the good work. Thank you, Matt. Melissa joined in. Melissa, we're just wrapping things up. She's still adding water to the food. So it's not helping. What you also could do, instead of water, add chicken broth. But short period of time. The dog's gonna get 10 minutes to eat. If the dog decides that he doesn't want to eat, then the food goes up. And then you can feed him later in the afternoon. If he decides he doesn't want to eat then, food goes up. And then you feed him tomorrow. If he doesn't decide to eat then, food goes up. Eventually the dog's going to eat. But the dog has to start to understand he eats on your schedule, not on theirs. I have mixed thoughts on training my English setter to point birds and big game recovery. What's your thoughts? What you could do is you can get that dog to point a dead animal. Tracking is tracking. An English setter, if you've got a bird dog and you wound one and you send it, I would imagine most bird dog guys want their dog to be able to track a cripple. Oftentimes they'll track the cripple to the point where it's either dead or it's holed up, and then you'll be able to flush it or do whatever you're going to do again. So that's all tracking is. I know guys that have pointy dogs. I know guys that have Drottars. They're a real versatile tracking dog, and their dogs will point. Their dogs will work on a blood trail to the point where they lock up on point. I know some guys that train their dogs to sit. I know you can train your dogs to do a lot of different things, but I think hunt is hunt, and the more I hunt, the better I see dogs get. Much like athletes, the more the kid plays, the better athlete it seems they become. So I think that is that's my thoughts on that. I've been taking away what she doesn't eat since I saw you every time. So how much is she eating? Ever come to the East Coast? I haven't, Justin. I would like to, but I haven't. So we gotta talk KM cutters.
we got some questions. I'm gonna have some questions for you on it. Eventually, dog's gonna have to eat. So, my question would be, how much is she eating? How much are you giving her? How much does she normally eat in a period of a day? Like before you started feeding her on scheduled times, how much would she eat in a day? So I don't know, like cups wise. I think we talked about this when we were in Cabela's. I'm sorry, May. Yeah, Melissa joined in there. May 21st, 19th to 21st. That is the dates on that workshop in Buffalo County. More information on our Facebook page. I'll share that flyer again, or I'll post that flyer again too, guys. Couple spots. I think I got 2 spots right now, 2 or 3. I'd have to look at the list again. The April one is full, and I'm going to be sending an email out. So I know some of you people that are on here right now probably are coming to that one. There'll be an email going out, a group email. So she will eat probably 2 cups a day, maybe 3, depends on the day. So that's not a lot. It's not a lot of food. So I'd cut it in half, and I'd give her that opportunity to eat that during 10 minutes. It's like 5 bites. It's not really that much food. So stick with it. Be consistent. Cut it in half. Put a little chicken broth on it. Put a little coconut oil on it. Do something to make it a little more appealing for her to eat up quicker, and then be done. And then she's good. And maybe you praise her for it. I'd have to see the scenario, but if the pup doesn't eat, it's not going to have a chance to eat all day long. So, and that's opportunity for you to get lessons. That's the whole point of it, is so you can get lessons out of it. Thanks again. Looking forward to the next one. She's not consistent at all, but she's still alive, so she must eat enough. That's true. That's true. I would imagine that she's going to make it. So, all right, guys, I'm going to wrap it up. Yes, do that. Shoot a video of it. Let me see it. That will help, guys. Thank you guys for watching as long as you did. Thank you for sharing this. I enjoyed it. I think we're going to do it in the future. It sounds like some people got some stuff out of it. This goes back. You guys can hear this little dog just whining. She's not coming off there. She's not going to get praised. Steph just had her out. I'm going to find out if she went to the bathroom or not, but something is amiss. But she's not going to be able to just whine it out and have me give her any attention. So the training will continue as the night goes on. You guys stay consistent. Be consistent. Form habits. Repetition. I'm going to do the same. We'll be back at it tomorrow, and then we'll keep our week going. I've got plans for this week. I want to do some tracking with this dog. I want to do some retrieving with this dog. I want to do some more stuff with her. So, and we're working on a few other kind of cool things with this live thing too. So I'll keep you guys posted on that. But appreciate you guys following along, and let's keep working on this together. I think we're all in it together. So take care, guys. Have a great night.